Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magical Book Club. Today I'm here to read a novel which is called Old Yeller. I'm going to continue reading from chapter 6, so I'm going to start. Till little Erlis got us mixed in that bear fight, I guess I'd been looking on him about like most boys look on their little brothers. I liked him all right, but I didn't have a lot of use for him. What with his always playing in our drinking water and getting in the way of my chopping eggs and howling his hat off and chunking me with rocks when he got mad, it didn't seem to me like he was hardly worth the bother of putting up with. But that day when I saw him in the spring, so helpless against the angry she-bear, I learned different. I knew then that I loved him as much as I did Mama and Papa, maybe in some ways even a little bit more. So it was only natural for me to come to love the dog that saved him. After that, I couldn't do enough for Old Yeller. What if he was a big, ugly, meat-stealing rascal? What if he did fall over and yell bloody murder every time I looked crossways at him? What if he had run off when he ought to have helped with the fighting bulls? None of that made a lick of difference now. He'd pitched in and saved little Erlis when I couldn't possibly have done it, and that was enough for me. I pat him and made over him till he was wiggling all over to show how happy he was. I felt mean about how I'd treat him and did everything I could to let him know. I searched his feet and pulled out a long mesquite thorn that had become embedded between his toes. I held him down and had Mama hand me a stick with the coal of fire on it so I could burn off 3 big bloated ticks that I found inside one of his ears. I washed him with lye soap and water, then rubbed salty bacon grease into his hair all over to rout the fleas. And that night after dark, when he sneaked into bed with me and little Erlis, I let him sleep there and never said a word about it to Mama. I took him and little Erlis squirrel hunting the next day. It was the first time I'd ever taken little Erlis on any kind of hunt. He was such a noisy pest that I always figured he'd scare off the game. As it turned out, he was just as noisy and pesky as I'd figured. He'd follow along, keeping quiet like I told him, till he saw maybe a pretty butterfly floating around in the air. Then he'd set up a yell you could have heard a mile off and go chasing after the butterfly. Of course, he couldn't catch it, but he would keep yelling at me to come and yell still louder. Or maybe he'd stop to turn over a flat rock. Then he'd stand yelling at me to come back and look at all the yellow ants and centipedes and crickets, that stinging scorpions that went scurrying away, hunting new hiding places. So I'm done reading till chapter 6, page 63 on the end of the page. I hope you're enjoying with me and see you later. Bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.